lifespan as the patient. The
Mm.
average doctor don't live 65, 70 years. And
Mm.
he's taking the same drugs he's prescribing to his patients. He's taking them same drugs.
Teach, brother. Mm. Teach that truth.
So this is where you all are going to get your health from.
Mm.
The devil. While you looking for the devil underneath the ground, mathematically the devil on top of the ground is killing you. You know, math is 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is saying that all the hell here on the earth is coming from the European.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
ruled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying niggas ain't and tan devils, although they're secondary. They only are following the master.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget that.
So
that's
they're not
right.
they don't control society.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's real powerful that you mentioned that too as well, brother, about these Europeans controlling their false infrastructure. And don't forget that they must make sure that they try to keep the house Negro on top. Remember that also as well, that the European must continue to have his black house Negro educate our people in the wrong way. Matter of fact, not even educate. Hold on, let me correct that, because education means to take away. I mean to give false knowledge, false wisdom, false content. Give us different sciences of knowledge that has nothing to do with the reality of what we live, or it has nothing to do with our mind, body, spirit, and soul. This is why when you look at all the things that the devil puts on the television, as you look and see, you'll notice all the things that is played 24 hours throughout our people's days has nothing to do with consciousness of the God itself. If you look at everything that's being promoted around you through television, media, all this unnecessary stuff, television, radios, cars, concert, events, they make sure they put all this foolishness around us because they know that it's foolishness to keep us from opening up that third eye. That's why we see our people, they're focused on a pair of Jordans and what game is coming on tonight, instead of being focused on how can I prepare myself when these devils destroy the pipes in these cities and this flood come through and wipe us out. How can we have our own evacuation plans? They're not worried about that, you see. They're just worried about how many Nikes and Jordans and video games are going to be made. What I'm trying to get at is that our people have been put under the spell of ignorance and stupidity, and mostly all of the things that are not important is being promoted, even through Blog Talk Radio and YouTube, all this garbage. A woman buck naked, 6,000 views. But a brother giving information that can help the people, he only get 10 views if he's lucky. Go on, brother, please finish. I think I've made my point.
Definite. Righteousness, the brother Supreme of the UK, Path One. Polar Bear.
Yes, sir.
Right, he's out there.
Peace and blessings to you, brother, Polar Bear, Puel Bear. I've been seeing all the information and work that you've been putting out, and big ups to brother Lord Malcolm. That's the family.
And also Miss Black. Let's see, Goddess Black Love out there.
Okay. All right. Peace and love to you. Hold it down in Detroit. Okay. And, I'm glad that you also mentioned a lot of the things, too, as well. And I want to ask you, how do you feel about, in terms of the Nuwaubians, because this also can relate, because a lot of those Negroes are really connected to hope and religion, things that cannot be proven, okay? How do you feel about them still chanting about Dr. Malachi York case? And I know this comes from left field because those Negroes have been sitting back. How long has it been, 4 or 5 years now? And these demons still got him in their cage down there. And, I tuned into a show, a Nuwaubian show earlier today, and I really couldn't believe that they're still sitting back chanting. That's like me locking you in a room and your family sitting back in another room praying that the door's going to open up and you're just going to magically walk out. How do you feel about that, Dr. York, and these Nuwaubians with the fantasies and some of the mythologies that they have?
Well, I'm going to share a feeling. I'll share the absolute knowledge on that, and that's they're in a religion or division also. And the main thing ain't the division don't have to necessarily be a division from people. It's a division from yourself, first of all.
Right.
If your true self is to be in accord with absolute math and science, reality, then the first division or divide and conquer is yourself. You've divided yourself, and so now the world or the devil or the powers of the negative forces have now conquered you. You blow wherever the wind, wherever their force takes you. So they believe that their love's going to bust out Malachi York. Ain't a nigga been able to love since this devil met Negroes. You know, they was getting beat and raped, and they was trying to love and as the devil, you know, politely and love them and everything else, and that devil was still putting his boot in their behind. So now all of a sudden, how is love going to stop the made devil? That's crazy. You know, them Negroes was marching with King and all that with picket signs trying to show love while they was getting water hoed and dog sicked on them. What did it produce? Only thing you can count for today is you can get a white woman without getting lynched. Your money's still in the white man's banks. He's still telling you what he wants to so-called educate you, miseducate you, because all you know about is jungle bunnies in Africa and ISIS or slavery. He ain't gonna never teach you that you the one that reared him out of the cave. You have to learn that on your own. That's not the history or the education he'll be teaching you.
Sure, brother.
He only will teach you that which will perpetuate you being a nigger. You see each other, you want to shoot each other, you want to beat each other in the head.
That's right. That's right.
You hate each other
for no reason.
That's education. You know, because what do you have that would make you lift your head up when you throwing spears around? You know, you see the devil with guns and cannons and whatnot having the superior weaponry, and you still, you know, he's showing you in your savage mind. This is the fall of you, the fall of us. He shows you with a damn spear, a spear chucker, they say, living in a hut, you know, a straw hut. And he's in mansions. So he never shows you anything for you to be of interest or what they would call pride or happy about. Yeah, he don't show you as kings and queens with dressed in garbs of gold and whatnot. Dressed in gold and silks. You know, he show you in huts.
Talk about it.
So all these things are systematically. This is mathematics again. Dealing with signs and symbols. Signs and symbols are mathematics. Every sign you get, you're constantly adding it up. When you dial in the number, you're listening for each dial.
Yes, sir.
The sound. You adding up how many numbers you press. You see? When you're driving, you're adding up distance. Time, distance, motion.
Between time and motion, what is the difference between time, motion, and distance? I also wanted to ask you that while you touch on that, because I like that. That was a very good point. Time, motion. Break that down to me, Brother Supreme.
Well, it's just like thought. Thought, we could say, is the motion, and time is when that thought's getting there. You see?
Is there any such thing as time?
Pardon me?
Is there any such thing as time? As they say, we live to a
No, time. Actually, in actuality, time, I say mind. Mind is time and time is mind because, in essence, time only exists in the mind. Before we had brains to register time, there was no time. That's why we say we're the Alpha and Omega, because we go so far back before time was even recorded. Because remember, there was a certain time when time was recorded. So we go beyond record of time.
And you're saying that that's definitely one of the reasons why they had to literally wipe us out. They had to erase our books. We never had nothing. They had to erase us before they even written anything about themselves. I noticed that. Even when you look through most of their literature and false information, you'll notice that they had to create a false history for them. So they had to push us out. They had us in, but they had to make sure that they cut a lot of our history out. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have one. What they have is ours. That's what one brother I remember a while ago of the 5% Nation talking to him, and a more Science Temple brother, which, you know, a lot of them, they're still confused. But they was even making a point that we had so much, and I don't even like to use the word history because that can mean his theory, but I mean in terms of our records of information of our ancestors and the success of our people, what they have done, and what our people can still do today. You know, not living in the past thought, but being as though that DNA from our ancestors of what they have accomplished is still in us today, and it's still rolling. The only thing we have to do is tap that and realize that we need to perfect the best system and the best science of righteousness each and every day of our lives. We tap that, we can't be stopped. And what's so powerful about it all, and I don't even like to use the word leader anymore because most of the Negro leaders or bules have let us down, if you ask me, by making deals with the CIA, FBI, and Arabs. But I'll say that our unity together as God's on a core of what we need in today's time is the best thing that we can have. And I'm not talking about any particular nation in terms of anything of Nation of Islam or the Wahabians. I'm talking about us taking control of our own God self. And Brother Supreme, this is why I feel honestly that you are the truth of this day and time. Because I've not seen anybody stand up and use the God of self and break out of the label and the position change, meaning that you represent what freedom is, not just the freedom of the mind, but the freedom of manifestation of the higher knowledge and science of ourselves. You teach us basically to go beyond what we see, what we think. Don't believe everything you hear. Search, research, check it out. Don't be afraid to challenge something if you know it's not adding up to mathematics and science. And that's what I feel is very key. Just like I don't like to use the term ancient, but in some of the ancient documents you have forms of monotheism, polytheism, pantheism, and what we call reincarnation. So you have a lot of our people today, if they're stuck under a monotheistic religion, whether it be Christianity, Islam, or Judea teachings, right? They're still stuck under person, place, or thing. And to me, you represent things that's higher than reincarnation, higher than pantheism, higher than polytheism, which pantheism was a form of monotheism. So the point that I'm making is that when all of us realize that we must take control of our destiny but be on a accord that is going to heal the mental mind. That's why they make all these movies, The Night of the Living Dead, The Dawn of the Dead. That's what we are. Not us, but the people in the world that is filled with this illusion of these demons and house negroes. Once we apply this science that you have going on here, each and every day in our lives, and exercise it to work, then we will be coming out of the walking dead state. I just wanted to bring that up because when I was a kid, a long time ago, I used to be afraid of the cemetery. And my father told me something deep. And I was more afraid of the dead sitting in a coffin than I actually was afraid of the living. And my dad used to sit back and drink wine and liquor in the cemetery. And this is from left field here, but I'm feeling this one. And when he was in there, he hit me with the Supreme when I was about 12, 13. And he told me, I don't know why the hell are you afraid of the cemetery? He said, well, that white man play on TV, none of these, there ain't no zombies, there ain't no people coming out. He said the dead is the people's mind that has been destroyed by false lies. The people that are living are more deader than the people in the damn box. All you got to do is talk to them and see what they talk about. They're talking about garbage, poison in their bodies. So he said that even the concept of the walking dead connected to religion, same thing. They talk about death. They talk about resurrection, redemption, being reborn. What is being reborn? What is faith? What is belief? What is death? Do we really die? Are we immortal in spirit, mind, body, soul? What is it? What is the light? How do you go to the light? What is darkness? What are these different things? And see, when you start asking these kind of questions, then the religious institutions that are established start to say that you are a devil or you are abominable. But the truth of the matter is that's where the freedom is at, when we start asking questions about the things that we have been taught that make no damn sense. I really had to make that point, Brother Supreme. I'm telling you. You know, I'm in the cemetery and, you know, and with hope and dope, I love it. And I've been thinking about this for a long
It is.
time. Talk about it.
Definitely. You know,
So, I mean, brother,
the truth is absolute.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it ain't no truth.
Well, what about that?
And so when we are, you know, elaborating on hope being dope,
right,
we can we show and prove.
That's right. That's right.
So it all adds up.
Now, you know what?
You ain't gonna find no Christian to come in here and challenge and say, well, hope's not dope.